is up, boys and girls? We are back tonight with another segment for Project AP1 Honda S2000. I'm here with Zach tonight behind the camera because Matthew is out. And we're going to be doing some weight reduction. So if you've been following some of the other build threads with Project GR Supra and what we talk about for Project Great Daily, the thing that I'm chasing now is weight reduction, but comfortable weight reduction. Keeping the car streetable, comfortable, but making it as light as possible, especially when it comes to some of these small displacement, naturally aspirated cars. So Project S2000 tonight is up on the chopping block, and I saw a good opportunity to save some weight, and then this is also going to carry over to Project RX-8, and I'll explain that in 1 second. So tonight, we're going to be installing a set of these Cobra Nogaro bucket seats. Currently, I have a set of Recaro Speeds in the car, and I like them, and they actually sit lower than stock. However, I know the setup is probably not ideal in terms of weight. It might even be heavier than the stock seats. When I installed them, I didn't weigh everything, but they're mounted on a set of planted seat brackets, which are big, thick steel, and then they have Recaro sliders underneath them as well. So that, in conjunction with the seat, they're probably pretty heavy. We're going to weigh them when we take them out. These Cobra Nogaros only weigh 17 pounds. I opted to go for a Buddy Club seat rail because I wanted something that sits down really low. And I know there's better rail options out there, but they're also heavier. So I'm kind of used to having seat rails that aren't the sturdiest and have a little bit of flimsiness to them. In my FDRX-7, I have a set of Nagisa, JDM Nagisa, super low rails, but they do sit low. So why the Cobra Nogaro? Well, if you look here, the Cobra Nogaro has a very low side bolster, and I think this is clutch if you're going to even consider running a bucket on the street, at least if you're getting more old man like me. I've done the full-on race buckets, and that gets annoying real fast, especially when you can't reach for your wallet, where you got to pick yourself up in and out of the bucket seat, fastening your seatbelt properly, and actually having it retention on your waist. A lot of the high bolsters, when you go to put your seat receptacle in there, the strap is just bending over the side of the bolster, not really securing you that well, so it means that there's gap between you and the belt. Something that's a low bolster allows you to run a factory 3-point, and I'm all about that. I'll never run harnesses again on the streets. I know they're cool, but they're miserable, and they're probably dangerous, because if they're fastened properly, you can't lean forward to see when you're trying to pull out of an intersection. I learned that one the hard way. Plus, it sucks when all your buddies are like, oh, click, ready to go, and you're like, hold on, I got to buckle my 5-point or 6-point. So I'm against harnesses. Keep them for full-on race cars, but not for street cars. So the other thing was, is I got these from, oh God, I forgot the kid's name. I got these seats off of Facebook Marketplace from a young lad named Brendan Duffy, and he runs the YouTube channel Outrun. He was very good to negotiate with. He was very helpful and had a great transaction, and his pricing was super fair on these seats. So Brendan, thank you very much again. I really do appreciate everything that you did for this deal. These are set, like I said, Cobra Nogaros. These come with a white / like silvery stitching from the factory. Now, I actually was going to call Cobra and order a set custom, but I think you have to do it from Cobra UK because they're based out of the UK, and then have them shipped here. But they will build them however you want, with whatever stitching colors. They'll even custom paint the backs if you want. But he already had a set. He was semi-local, and I wanted to match the green stitching on the interior of the S2000. So not that long ago, Zach was making fun of me. I saw an Instagram reel of a girl. She had a C8 Corvette, and she was using a fabric marker to color the stitching. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to color the stitching in, and here's the result. Now, I didn't show it because it's literally you just sit there, color the stitching, and then take a microfiber and wipe the excess off of the leather.
Let's see this marker.
I got this off of Amazon for like $4, the fabric marker. I got a couple different shades of green, and I actually used both of them. I used the lighter shade on the stitching on the sides, and then I used the darker green to dye the Cobra in the center. But Zach, how good does that look?
It looks really good.
It came out really good.
It looks beautiful.
And I did a couple swatch samples to like see what closely matches all the stitching that I have already in the interior. and it was the lighter green, so that's why I did that. But when I did the logo with like a little bit more, I guess it's like just more thicker surface area, it looked more like a faded green. It didn't, and you know, it's kind of like a grayish white. So I actually went and did the darker green on that, and I think it looks good. But I didn't want to go too dark on the side stitching because then you don't see it, especially when the top is on the car and you got like a shadow on there. So I went with the semi-lighter, and this was a better match towards what's going on in there. So I think there's going to be a good amount of weight savings. The car, last time I weighed it on our scales, was 2,630 pounds. And that was full, like more than 3/4 of a tank, almost a full tank of fuel in there. So it would be really nice to see this thing under like 2,600 or below. Now, mind you, I still have AC, still have my factory radio and speakers in this car. So there are some creature comfort mods there, or not mods, but creature comforts in there. And as far as the build, it's all Belade suspension components at this point. All the Belade stuff took a lot of weight out of the suspension. I think we dropped like 20 pounds between the calipers and their coilovers versus the Tane monosports that I had on here. This is a full bolt-on car with a big carbon fiber snorkel intake, header back exhaust. I have resonators. I have a Belade titanium Type S exhaust out the back, a single exit one. And, oh, my soft top is gone because I run a carbon fiber Mugen style. I think Forbidden made this top. The top weighs 30 pounds, but I took the complete power soft top out of the car. Overall, I think that's pretty darn good for considering the power that it's making, which was 238 at the wheels, dynojet, and 158 foot-pounds. So to be at that 2,600 flat mark without using really any carbon panels except for the hood, but the hood is actually heavier than the stock hood. So there was a little bit of weight gain there, but I think that's a pretty good weight. So we'll see. I'm really excited to see how much these shave over the Recaros. I'm hoping it's at least 10 pounds per seat, but that may be optimistic. So we're not going to show you the seat install because I'm literally just taking the 4 bolts, taking these out, plopping these in, and I'm just going to adjust the final position of them sitting in the rails. We already have them mocked up temporarily, so I know where I want for a recline, and everything's just kind of mocked up loosely. So once we lay them in there, sit them, I'll snug everything up and have it in its final position, but we'll show you the before and after, and we'll calculate the final weight. And in this process, I removed my factory wind deflector because I only keep a hardtop on this car at all times, and that was 1 pound. So we're already off to a good start. Let's get into it. Okay, so we just weighed everything, and I remembered I said this integrates with Project RX-8, and I didn't tell you guys why. So we weighed the Recaro with the Planet setup and the Recaro sliders. It's 43 point something pounds, and this is 27. So it's a little over 15 pounds per seat that we're saving. So that, in conjunction with the wind deflector that I took off, is going to put us just underneath the 2,600 pound mark, which I'm super stoked about. Now, how this ties in with Project Great Daily is I bought a set of, I don't even know the name of the company that makes them. They're out of Japan. They're a low seat rail. They look like they're not terribly heavy. I'm kind of rolling the die a little bit, but it says that it drops the seating position of the RX-8 when you're using a reclinable bucket seat like the Recaro Speed. And those are going to be here probably in a month or so. So these are going to end up going in Project Great Daily, which I'll be removing the factory power leather seat and the passenger manual leather seats. So I'm hoping that this will shave a few more pounds out of Project Great Daily also. But the fact that we're going to save almost 30 pounds, or a little bit over 30 pounds from Project S2000 is awesome. And the last thing I didn't mention is that I think we're going to lower our seating position a little bit too, which is something that I would be happy with. These sit lower than the factory seat probably by at least a half an inch, maybe even like 3/4 of an inch. I'm hoping to get down even lower with the Cobra Nogaros. So we took a before and after. Well, we took a photo of me in this. We'll take another one, and then I'll show you that at the end, see if we drop a little bit of seat height. Boys and girls, I am stoked with these seats. How good are these seats, Zach?
They're really nice.
These seats are perfect.
They complete it.
Perfect. So not only did we shave 32 pounds off a Project AP1 tonight, bringing us below the 2,600 pound mark full of fuel, so 2,598 pounds. My seating position here is a good amount lower than it was with the Recaros. And if you look at my head, I am well below the factory roll hoops and well below the windshield reinforcement, which is rollover protection. So I don't even have to like think about any form of a roll bar on this car for that added weight. But they look great. They feel great. It really opens up the possibility of me wanting to put bucket seats in the street cars again. Even in my FD-RX-7, which I have the Carrera GT3 seats, they have a pole position style base. It's lower bolster, but it's not as low bolster as these. Like these literally, there's nothing prohibiting you from being able to egress out of the car like it's a normal seat. But you have this extra shoulder support and on your hips from your side to side. And my bootleg tie-dye job with the what do you call that? Dye marker, ink marker, dye marker. It matches the interior almost perfectly. I mean, if you really look close, you could see the shade is maybe just like a pinch different, but we got all the fluorescence on and the hard top's off. But with the hard top on, you're never going to be able to see this. So stoked here. I'll show you how I get in and out. Oh, and I forgot to mention this before, but I'll overlay the comparison of how much lower I sit now. Okay, now that you saw that, look at this. Nothing in the way here from getting out of these bolsters. You can simply turn and boom! And how good do those look in there? If you guys haven't tuned in, one of the videos we did on the car last year was just like an interior revamp, and I had the custom door panels done with the Alcantara inserts and the green stitching, and then same thing for the center console and the shift boot. But it's just like it's all cohesive. So that is it for this one. If you want to support our channel, head on over to slipanglemedia.com. Take a look at our web store. We have a lot of tuner parts up there. It helps us. We don't ask for donations or do Patreon. And if you like this sort of content, let us know. If you think it sucks, let us know too, because we want to hear. Do all the things. Like, subscribe, comment, and that's it. We will see you all in the next one.